Now back to the Calta CRUISE12 podcast.
All right, we're here with Bert and Bobby Kelly and Galvin. We're in my room doing a podcast. We're going to keep going. We'll go as long as we have stories. It's a Mike Calta show. We're back live tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. It's 102.5 The Bone.
I wouldn't mind having like an ecosystem in my backyard, like a couple snakes, some parrots, a fucking.
That's what I'm thinking. If I get a butterfly bush and a bee thing,
Yeah.
and I have a tortoise,
Yeah.
and a gator and a bunch of deer,
Yeah.
I'm like fucking Noah. I could do this.
I wanted to do that with our backyard so bad. I wanted to get a snake. So we have a rat problem. I want to get a snake and let it go in our backyard. And my wife's like, "That's a horrible idea."
Yeah. Well, if you get a black snake,
Like get a black snake and just let it go in the backyard.
but build it something where it
What's
will
a black
stay in your
snake?
area. Just like a garter snake, a black Kreischer or something. But keep a warm area in your yard so it stays there and it comes back to the spot. You know what I mean? So it doesn't go to your neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
I don't know about putting a snake.
There was
in
an
the backyard.
albino cobra loose in our neighborhood.
Jesus Christ.
And I get it. I see that it's loose. We get like an alert.
Oh, I thought you saw it.
No. There was an alert. Albino cobra.
If you have a magic eyelash and you find the albino cobra, you have luck for fucking life.
He's going to win an Oscar.
An albino cobra?
Albino cobra.
Python.
Nope, just an albino cobra.
Albino cobra. Okay.
Loose in our neighborhood.
Cobra?
And I fucking see it and I go, oh shit, I should let the girls know. So I do a group text to Leanne, Georgia, and Isla. I hit send and I get a reply back from Georgia. Real smart big guy. And then Leanne calls, why would you send that to Isla? And Isla's like, there's a cobra in our neighborhood.
That poor kid is tortured.
Oh, she is not. We had a infestation of black widow spiders.
Jesus.
So one day we have these Adirondack chairs in the front, and one day we're getting ready to go out, and a black widow spider is in our shutters by our front door. Leanne sees it, I see it, and Leanne says to me, hey, just to give you a heads up, we got a couple, we get in the car, she goes, just to give you a heads up, did you see what I saw? And I said, I did. And Isla goes, what did you see? And she goes, it's nothing. We got nothing. But I will tell you, we definitely have a BW problem. And Isla goes, black widows. We got black widows. So that night we put the girls to bed, and I was like, oh, it's not that bad. We flip our Adirondack chairs upside down, and they have nested. Maybe 100 have nested under our Adirondack chairs. And now I start spiraling out. And then we go, and they say don't go higher than like 3 feet. So look around, anything at 3 feet. So we start flipping all our chairs. They are fucking everywhere. They're everywhere. And then I go, we have this. There's a house you can buy that hangs from trees. It's called
Treehouse?
It says Sea Rock City. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Sea Rock City. They're very popular. If you ever drive through Rock City, they sell you this it's like a tree house, not a tree house, a bird house, but it says Sea Rock City on it. So I go over to that, and it is filled with nests, and it's almost like a horror movie. There are so many that I start spiraling out, and at one point I say to Leanne, I have two parts in my life, the life before black widow spiders and the life after black widow spiders. I couldn't sleep for fucking ever.
Don't you have
And
pest
then
control?
Leanne got bit by a black widow spider.
What happened?
Nothing. She's a fucking redneck. It's hurt for a little bit.
Spiders are the worst. I can take snakes. I have coyotes. I have even rats. I could do rats if I saw. But fucking spiders
I
are
don't
the
give
worst.
a shit about spiders.
Oh, they're the worst. This year we rented a lake house, and usually I go to my uncle's. He has like a big compound, and we use his shit. I just use his shit, his boat, and for 30 years we've been doing that. But this year I was like, let me get my own house, and we had our own dock, and I got this big boat, and we get in the boat, and I guess these spiders they're called wolf spiders, dock spiders, right?
They're not bad. They're big. as
Yeah,
fuck.
because I grew up on lakes my whole life. We never really dragged people and hurt them in the thing. So, contrary to what you think,
You did not grow up on lakes your whole life.
Lake Squam, Lake Winnipesaukee, my whole life.
No, you had a lake in your backyard?
My uncles have had a lake house in New Hampshire for pretty much my whole life. Yeah.
Okay.
But they did the same thing to me. That's why when you did it, it was like bringing back childhood memories. But yeah, we were coming back from just on the lake, coming back, and I looked, and there was one this big on right where the ladder was. And I know my wife hates spiders. I know Max doesn't like spiders. So I looked, there's a spider. I was as calm as I could. Look, there's a spider. I'm going to take care of it. Okay? And they're like, what? I go, I got it, no problem. And I whacked the dock. The spider took off.
Oh, fuck.
A bigger one jumped out from the crack in the dock, like I pissed it off. Literally jumped out and did this. And looked,
Ready to fight.
ran, and jumped towards my wife on the boat. Literally off the dock. And jumped, but didn't make the boat, and we didn't know where it was.
No, that's the worst.
So, and the boat, like, kind of went around. So I'm like, and there Max is screaming. My wife is like, what the The neighbors, we don't even know them. They're like, is everything okay? I'm like, we're fine. And I'm like, where's the spider? I'm just trying to be cool. I'm like, where's the spider? She goes, I don't know where the spider is. I'm like, look over the side. So she looks over the side. She goes, it's right there. It's on the boat, coming up the boat.
Like Max Cady from...
Dude, it was, yes. It was fucking...
What a great fucking analogy.
So I literally just rode the boat into the shore. I go, get off. And they ran off, and then I had to jump in the water. Fucking ugh.
You had a water fight a spider?
I jumped in the water, and I just went around and wiped it off. But it was this big. It was this fucking big.
Yeah, that's about the one that knocked me, that made me destroy a bed.
Fuck spiders, man.
No.
Spiders are the worst.
Our cat lets rats in our house. It catches rats and then brings them to the house and lets them
different.
go. So it brings it usually if it's a big one, it lets it go and we got to catch it and throw it out.
Oh,
if it's a little one, it eats its brains under the table. I was eating dinner and I was playing with Priscilla's foot with my toe. And she's playing back with it, and all of a sudden someone goes, "There's a rat under the table," and I'd been playing with a rat that Gus had chewed its brains out. So one night Gus brings a big rat in, and gimps its arm and lets it go, and we lose it. We fucking chase it. It was on my Instagram stories. We chase it. We lose it behind one of the couches in some boxes. We take all the boxes outside and leave them outside. And Leanne goes through the boxes. She goes, I can't find it in the fucking boxes. Oh. And so I'm like, it's in the house. So this is how our family works. Me, George, and Isla each go to our rooms, shut our doors, and put towels under the fucking thing, and leave Leanne in the living room to find it. And Leanne was up until 2 in the morning and found it.
Jesus. We'd move out. I don't fucking around with that, man. Stuff inside the house.
I had to do an acting. You know, when you do the acting classes, you always get these partners. I got this chick, and she lived in Brooklyn in some shithole, and I had to go to her apartment. And as soon as I walked in, I'm like, "There's a dead animal." I just know that dead animal smell. She goes, "What?" I go, "There's a dead animal somewhere in your house." She goes, "Well, there was a mouse here last night in the bedroom, and the superintendent put poison around, so maybe that." So we're rehearsing the scene, and then I'm like, I can't. I got to find it because it's here. So we looked in the room. I smelt it near the fridge, and I go, I'm just going to take the fridge. So I pulled the fridge back. And you know the wire behind the fridge?
Yeah, the metal.
Stuck between that and the fridge, without the tail, was a rat this big.
Oh.
Literally that big, without the tail.
Dead?
I go, you might want to
get rid of this refrigerator.
I go, you might want to just go in the other room for a second. I go, get me a dustpan. It hung over the dustpan. I go,
you touched it?
That was in her bedroom last night. She thought it was a mouse.
Oh.
That was in her bedroom the night before, running around
That's
her
fucking
bed.
my head up. That's fucking my head up.
Did you touch it?
I took it out of the thing with the broom and the dustpan.
You can't touch that.
I put it in the trash. It lit funk. It just hit the bottom of the trash. It was the biggest rat, and it had all those little rat roids on the back of its asshole. Those little tumors. Ugh.
My cat died in my house, and the next morning it was all stiff in my office, and I couldn't touch it to pick it up. I had to wrap it. I had to get a towel and kind of shove it into the cat box.
Yeah.
And then it was too stiff to close the door, so I had to close the door on its face, and then carry it outside. Dead stiff animals gross me out.
I had to bury Kelby when she brought Kelby out of the room. When he did my dog, when he died.
Jesus Christ.
My niece. Yeah, she was 20.
So
yeah,
can I
was
tell you
terrible.
about the cat? So my wife would not let me just throw the cat in the dumpster.
Yeah.
We had to bury it, except we lived in an apartment, so we didn't have any place to bury it. So we went to her mother's. Her mother had a condo, like a townhouse with a courtyard, but it was mostly patio pavers. And I'm like, well, where are we going to bury it out here? And she was in the little flower beds. I was like, all right. So now I'm digging. And my wife, who was like 21 at the time, she's like, we can't just put it in the dirt. So now we have a Tupperware with a loosely fitting top. And she goes, please bury it like this. I'm like, okay. So I start digging, and I hit concrete like a foot in. So I'm like, why? It's full concrete. So I place the Tupperware with the loosely fitting lid in there, and then cover it with a thin layer of dirt. And I go, it's in there. It's deep in there. Nobody saw it. They just saw the dirt on there.
Yeah.
They sold the condo 2 weeks later. So imagine the next person's like, what is this over here?
Why are these flowers growing so well?
And they take the top off the Tupperware, and it's just dead cat carcass a foot under the ground.
Dude, I did the same thing. When my dog died, I thought for some reason putting him in a Tupperware thing was like a coffin.
Yeah.
And I put him in the back, but then I'm like, it's going to be dog soup. And
Right.
It's just going to be dog soup forever in this thing. And my wife was pissed too. She's like, because she wanted to wrap him in a blanket and a poem and all this stuff.
Dead. My mother's dog died.
I actually went out the next night, and it was hard. I went out the next night. I dug him up, and I didn't really know where I put him. So the first shovel thing, I was like, because I didn't want to just funk and just have two pieces of Kelby. So I dug him up. I took him out. I put him just in dirt.
Oh, Jesus.
So because that way he'll go back into the dirt. Dirt is just bones and leaves and shit.
My mother's dog died at midnight. She called me crying. I thought my grandmother had died. I go, what? Is it dead? I go, Grandma died? No, it's dead. I'm like, what? Dexter died. I'm like, oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I do morning radio. I had to drive to her house, and she's there clutching the dead dog. And I sit with her for a minute, already starting to stink a little. And I go, all right, well, let's deal with this tomorrow. And she goes, what do we do tonight? I go, put it in a garbage bag. We'll put it out in the back until tomorrow. Oh, no. Oh, no, what?
Yeah.
I had to call a cremation place, and they had to come over at 2 o'clock in the morning and pick up the dog and take it out of there. And most likely they put it in a garbage bag when they left. Yeah. That's ridiculous. People, when your pets die, they're dead.
Yeah, when you die, you just bury them in them. You just find a plot of land and stick them in it. And they're gone.
$150 to cremate it.
I got Diva's cremated. I have Diva still on my bureau. Yeah. But then you don't know what to do with her.
What are your pet names?
Priscilla, Mona, and Gus Gus. And then Charlotte, Henrietta, and...
What's this girl name?
Another one. I forget the third chicken's name.
You have a chicken?
We had 3 chickens.
Why do you have chickens?
Same reason I said you should get bees. Leanne wanted something more.
I always tell him I want chickens, and he makes fun of me.
They're fun.
It's
amazing.
It tedious, though?
It's what?
Is it tedious? Like you got to do a lot of work?
I don't do anything. I've never done anything for them.
They have mites?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the third one's name.
You know, a lot of guys who fly fish, they like the chickens because they make the flies out of chicken. Yeah, they use chicken feathers. Chicken feathers. There was something up with chickens a while ago. The chicken feathers were really expensive.
I have the best pet in the whole world. All I got to
Tortoise?
do is throw some shitty vegetables at him, and he's so happy. Yeah.
But you don't have to do anything?
No.
You have to clean that area?
No. All he eats is grass. And when he shits, it's just grass. The minute it rains, which it rains every day in Florida, it goes right back into the dirt.
I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss the rain.
Every once in a while, I drop some new hay out of there and clean his little house out with a rake. Takes me 5 minutes. And then it's done, and he's so happy. The one thing is I spent all this money putting hibiscus flowers in there because they supposedly love to eat the flowers. That fucker ate every plant in there. I mean, he destroyed it. It looks like a post-apocalyptic turtle area.
But you have an alligator in your backyard. You're not worried about that dude coming up?
Everyone has an alligator in their backyard.
My
in
tortoise
Florida.
is 70 pounds. It's a 70-pound armored tank.
You don't think he'd just come? I mean,
No,
alligator.
a 70-pound
rock.
Turtles will
eat
eat a
wanted
fucking.
to eat it would
Absolutely,
eat it.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it would not be able to eat. I mean, when I have pictures of the alligator in my yard with turtles in its mouth. This is a 70-pound African sulcata tortoise. It is not getting this thing. If it does, then we need to call Ice Cube or whoever went in the water after that giant alligator
J-Lo.
movie. J-Lo.
That was Anacondas.
Yeah, same shit.
So you watched that last night too?
No, it was not.
It's been on every day.
No, I did not.
I've watched it 4
So
times.
funny, I actually watched it the other night where
Yeah.
the guy gets wrapped up and then falls backwards into
Falls
the
back.
anaconda.
Yeah, I
room.
watched it. Yeah, that and The Equalizer with Denzel,
Mhm.
which is a great one when he fucking goes 16 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he goes, tunk, bow, bow, boom, set.
Don't you wish everything worked out that way?
Oh, where you could time it and murder people?
That's,
Yeah.
You want to talk about being goal-oriented. That guy
Very
knows what's up.
goal-oriented.
All right, well, this has been a wonderful experience for us. I don't know how it was for you guys.
It was great. Dude, I think anyone listening might think Bobby and I are arguing, but I've known Bobby for 20 years.
Well, you were
There's-
arguing,
yeah,
but there was
it's-
no hate behind
There's
it.
no hate behind
No.
it. It's
No.
two friends
That's what
critiquing
friends
each
do.
other. Yeah.
I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you.
I fucking love. I love you.
So can I ask you a question?
You're one of the 10 people comics in my life.
If
I've
there
known
was-
you from day one.
If
for
there was a
New York
house
City.
fire and you could save me or Bert, and it didn't matter about who was heavier to drag out.
Absolutely, I would save you first. I would let Bert burn, and as he's burning, I go, "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention."
It's because Bert loves the blaze.
He loves the blaze.
Bert, who would you save? Me or Bobby? Not having to drag one of
I
us
was about to
out.
say.
Wait a minute,
Like,
I
if
get
you
that
could-
option too,
If
right?
you could wrap
I
us up in
lift
your
you up,
magical,
then I lift Bobby up. I go, wait, let's see.
Yeah.
if you could wrap us up in your magical eyelash, just yank us out of the house, who would it be?
That's funny. You have to put.
I mean, his fire is blazing. It's bad.
You
The
have to-
Detroit guys.
I think
trying-
I'd probably get more press from say. It's all about the Insta story. It's about me coming out going, hey guys, it's Bert Kreischer. My tour starts October 10th is pre-sales. I just saved Bobby Kelly's life. Bobby, you guys know Bobby from, you know what, dude?
Oh,
I'd be like, Tampa's probably already sold out at the Tampa Theater February 15th.
Yeah, I really
Oh,
don't
I'd have
need
that show
that.
canceled.
You know,
You'd be
I'd have
dead.
that show
You'd be
canceled.
dead.
You'd be dead.
I'd book a rival show across the street.
You would be dead. And
You'd
be dead.
Gavin would cancel it
I'd
because he
put
was.
it in memoriam to Cowhead.
That's not going to do me any good.
Am I the only one that calls you Cowhead still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right, though. Will you donate ticket money to my family? To my kids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How if he died?
Don't do it. Can I say this now? If I die tonight in my sleep, don't have charity things for me. Don't do.
What are we supposed to do with your family?
Yeah, what are we supposed to do?
Just nothing. They'll be
they
fine.
taken care of?
We got a lot of insurance.
Pete will marry
Yeah,
Amanda,
that's fine.
and then everything. You won't even have to move the clothes out.
No,
Yeah.
Wait, so we don't do anything?
no. I mean, you can
You just have to change the condom size. Nothing?
lower, smaller.
Oh, well, whatever.
It's true.
I don't
I've
know.
seen it. A
You,
lot.
you have a bigger peepee than Pete.
Absolutely.
There's no way.
Why would you say it like that?
Yeah, that's an odd.
Did I say it
Statement?
with a weird tone?
Yeah,
You
like
said it
you
like
knew
as if
something.
Pete was 185.
I'm just saying I think Pete has a bigger pecker than you.
Pete will tell you that that's not true.
Really?
Yeah,
All right.
and we've lived together for 6
So
years.
you guys both have regular sized penises.
No, his is particularly small.
He has a small penis.
Yes,
Oh,
he'll tell you that.
Wow.
Oh, he knows.
Really?
I know he knows, but now everybody else knows. I'm quite sure he knows.
In comparison to me,
Yeah.
between the two of us,
Who-
if we were to show them
Hey.
both,
Can I ask you a question?
you have to say, "Hey," like
By
we're
the
in
way,
another room.
anyone listening, Pete is the guy who owns the company where I shot the video with that Porsche that everyone loves.
Right,
if you
so
wanna-
anybody who saw the video went, "Oh yeah, I understand."
And
that.
I was the camera guy on that.
And Bobby was the camera guy. You both got tagged.
my camera guy was that
was-
was great
It's
work.
Zen Motorsports _ USA if you want it.
And it was
Without
hashtag
me-
hashtag not you production filming. If you need any filming done on iPhones, I'm your guy.
hashtag not you production.
As the executive producer of all that, I brought it all together in the world. And nobody tagged me in anything. The Mike Calta show. Thank you.
Can I say something to you?
Sure.
Here's your question:
Okay.
If we're all three of us are in a fire, and
He's
it's
having
burning,
Galvin. He needs a
Who
fucking
would
show
you
on
pick?
Monday.
Why do you think I need Galvin to have a show? We're gonna have a show before Galvin, you know.
who would you? All right, who would you pick out of me
Number
and Bert?
one.
For what?
If we're same scenario, and weight is not an issue.
I'm strong. I'm not worried about that.
Way to go, 9-year-old talking to his mom. I'm strong. I'm gonna lift heavy things. Put those shoes on. I'll see how fast I run in them.
Yeah. What was the question?
You know what it was.
So who would I save you? But I'm trying to think of
It's
what.
me. I know it is.
I'm trying to think of what the credentials would be like.
Well,
who do I know
I'm
longer?
your
Who am I
oldest
close-
friend. I'm one of your oldest friends.
I do know you longer.
Yeah, you know me much longer.
Yeah, but
Bobby
our
calls
friendship's
her
a
more
little,
often.
our friendship's a little deeper.
Bobby calls me and yeah.
Am I
A
now
lot.
out of this? Or is it just
Oh,
you
you're
two?
dead.
You're dead.
You're dead.
I sense from his
You're
thing
dead.
that he's just killed.
It turned into a two-way thing.
Have fun with
Because
your night show.
when he said I don't need him.
Shit show. Spanish, you and Carmen.
By the way, I said night show, but that works too.
Oh no, whoever I save is the new co-host.
Well.
It's part of the deal.
Yeah, and Bobby's not moving to Tampa.
You both have kids.
Well, you're picking it on who's. How you? Walk us through your deciding.
He
He
Sorry.
is.
I
Didn't you
am.
just hear him?
I will tell you, I love you equally. So now, what can I start taking away from the list to see who would be easier to save? I both consider you like on a brother type level.
Okay.
Like if you needed money, I would lend both of you money. If
Great.
you needed me bury a body, I would help you bury the body.
Okay.
So now I have to figure out who would benefit more from being alive.
Or who's been a better friend to you.
But they've both been really good friends. They do. They're different. They're a different type of friends.
Who have you known longer?
Bert. Bobby and I are very close. I mean, Bert and I are very close, but this is really a hard decision. I never thought I'd be in this position.
Well,
if you asked me between my two kids, I would tell you like that.
Right.
But the two of you, it makes it difficult.
Right.
Who do you think I'm going to pick?
Me.
Why? Campaign for this.
I think without me. I think
You
without me.
better rethink that.
I think without me, you don't have any friends. I think without me, I honestly think that our friendship is an attributing factor to both our careers.
I don't think that.
I think that entirely. I think I learned how to do radio by coming on your show as much as I could come. You would let me on every time I came down, and I would do a full week of radio, and I got to learn how to do radio doing that show. And I think, in a weird way, I think you learned how to become friends with comics. And I think you expanded your friends in comedy based on meeting me.
I will agree with both of those statements.
Yeah.
I think that our
However, in recent years now, since you learned how to do radio, we don't get to see you as much.
You're right. You're definitely right about that.
I think that our friendship began with the radio.
Mm-hmm.
We began with a business relationship, but through that, a friendship has actually outgrown that. If you quit radio tomorrow, if I quit comedy tomorrow, you'd still be one of my top two friends. Like, we would be friends. We're going to be friends,
Right.
no matter what. You get
but
kicked
you've
off
never,
radio
but
tomorrow.
You've never proven that.
You get
I've already
kicked-
proven that. When he
When
got
you-
kicked off radio, I was still his friend.
I was the same thing.
No, you don't know him kicked off radio.
And yeah, he did. He got kicked off radio back when we first met, and we
True.
still talk.
Oh, for real?
It's true.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Our
wow.
friendship actually got stronger at that point. Our friendship did. And then, I mean, now it's just off the charts. I mean,
But now-
I've called you for advice.
Yeah. So is Bert, though.
And I've called you for...
What advice? I'm at Tony Roma's. What you?
You have not called me for advice, like, pretty recently.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
No, he said he
day.
did.
Oh.
Yeah,
He
oh,
was
you asked him
questioning
what-
his
I-
advice,
I know.
yeah.
I called you for advice the other day.
I know. That's why I thought you were saying no. Wow, I gotta tell you, this is way
But
harder.
I feel like our friendship still has room to breathe, too. Like,
Okay.
our friendship is still...
Let me put it in
there's still
perspective.
roads.
Wow,
Our-
Bobby
our-
sounds needy. You're really going to pull him out of the fire?
Our friendship is strong and it's current, and we talk and see each other more.
Yeah, it's not shiny.
Our friendship has a longer history base,
Yeah.
and it's anchored in, even though we don't see or talk to each other as much.
Who do you want to save, your wife or your side chick?
Can
And
you
I'm
help
not.
me out with this?
Yeah, I'm not like voting for anyone, but I will tell you this: that guy is a lot less judging you than this guy. You guys are gonna go and eat and do whatever you want. He's like, well, I gotta go to the gym. I have.
Oh, whoa. You pick the one trip I don't drink and just start
Yep.
painting the picture.
Yep.
I gotta go to the gym.
Yep.
That's how everyone knows me. Bert, I gotta go to the gym. Kreischer.
I don't feel like
It's
Bert's
summer,
judging
October.
me ever, and I certainly don't feel like Bobby's judging me ever. Bobby is more fun to eat with. This is true. We'll eat more. Well, I don't know. You.
Bert's been
This is
fucking humming
really-
it down.
I've been putting food down in a fucking... You know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the Christian thing and let you rescue Bobby. Because I know that you really want to rescue me, but you can't say that out loud.
Oh, that was a good move.
Well, here's
that was
the
a good
deal.
move.
Yes, Bobby.
If that's the fact, I'd rather forfeit my rescue, and I would just say you can go rescue Bert because I know your foundation with him stronger, and he's going to need you more.
You can't do my move.
Yeah,
He's
it's
gonna
too late.
no,
He already did
He's
it.
going to need. He's going to need you more.
You're literally saying checkmate after he said checkmate.
He,
It doesn't
no,
work
he
that
said
way.
he said check.
No, he said checkmate, and you go, yeah, me too, checkmate. No, that's not how it works. You don't get to break your
You're
ribbon
fired.
again.
I'm quitting.
I quit.
They don't put a ribbon up for the second place. The first place runs through
But
it.
here's how Mike works. I think now that you gave up, Mike really wants you more now. You actually became more attractive to Mike by rejecting him.
Okay, here's the ultimate question. What kind of relationship do we have after I save you from the fire? The same one we have now?
Thank you so much for letting Bobby die. Hey, I want to tell you a story about when I was in college and we used to walk through the park with
Hey, can you get me? Can I have one of those cookies?
This has been the Mike Calta Show.
This is the Bert cast.
This is the You Know What, Dude podcast.
I like this.
This is a three-way swapcast.
This
If
is
you
a
enjoy
good, this
any
is
of
actually
these,
a good one.
if you enjoy any of these, Bobby's podcast is YWKD.
Don't pretend not to know.
No, YWKD.
WKD.
Don't pretend
Yeah.
not to know.
You
You've
what,
been on it
no,
a bunch
dude?
of time.
You can go to
Don't- why
Cowhead
don't-
on iHeartRadio.
don't trash-
No, you're bad at
What's wrong with
promoting.
you?
You know on iHeartRadio?
I'm the professional.
Oh, no, it's not funny when he does it to you, but he does it to me. You crack up.
No, I was mocking him. YWKD. It stands for fucking words. Just think about the words.
You know YKWD.
Yeah, I was mocking him.
All right.
Bobby Kelly is a great comedian and a great friend. His podcast is YKWD, standing for You Know What, Dude, where he has a mixture of a bunch of up-and-coming and current comics in the New York City-based area. Bert Kreischer, The Machine, you can check out his special on Netflix called Secret Time, and his world tour, Body Shots, is about to start in Portland, Oregon. Tickets go on sale when?
October 10th is pre-sale. General sales to everyone starts on Friday. But get them now because they will all sell out.
Including a stop at the Tampa Theater on February 15th.
But they'll sell out because they're small venues, and it's all one night only.
Yeah, and of course, Galvin, you can find him on Twitter at Galvin Seriously. We're on the Mike Calta Show, which is heard on 102.5 The Bone in Tampa. And you can get us on Instagram at the Mike Calta, CALTA, the Mike Calta Show.
Wait, what if you're not in Tampa? How do you listen?
Anyway, it's 2018. iHeartRadio, TuneIn app.
Then why
the
did you
Bone
jump
on-
on my foot when I said
because
Cowhead?
it's because
That's
we
how
don't
I
work
was
for that
saying.
company.
You said
We don't work for
Cowhead.
that company.
Oh, really?
And you said Cowhead.
That was
Oh,
such
yeah.
a
Oh, yeah, you did
perfect
say Calta,
ending.
yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's you can in 2018 you can listen to our show from anywhere in the world. And if you listen today and you're like, I don't want to listen to those hacky fucks talk about bugs and snakes, don't worry. That's not usually what our show is about. So you'll enjoy it. And we don't play any music. So there you
My
go.
nose is
Did you
bleeding.
trash the podcast?
No. What I'm saying is don't let today be the basis on what you judge our show on, even though I had a lot of fun today.
This is a great. You should base it on this. This
And
is
you can
great.
watch it.
You
You can
got
watch it.
fucking real shit between people who care. You got a little fucking argument. We talked about snakes. We talked about firefight. We talked about all kinds of shit. That was an epic fucking podcast with four of the most fucking, talented guys on a mic
In
that
what
I
order?
know.
In what order? Rate us from talent from highest.
I
to
feel
lowest.
like you're saying checkmate after you already said checkmate.
That was a speech. I was trying to give a speech. I was trying to hide it in a speech.
Did you
Rate
guys
us-
notice the boat isn't moving as much?
Yeah, because we slowed down.
We slowed down.
Is
All
that
right.
why?
Rate
Yeah.
us in talent from highest to lowest. Don't try to skirt around this.
I would say 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Who is the top? And go to the top and work your way down to one. Bert, you're next.
As far as what?
Okay,
that's-
I'll do it.
As far as
I'll
what
tell you.
though? Just before you tell me, I want to know what. As far as radio,
No, just overall, who's going to be most successful in life?
I would say I'll be last.
Why?
Just
Don't be
because.
a dick. Don't be a bitch
Well,
about
I
it.
mean,
Just be honest.
I would say.
It's
that,
not just financial
I would
either.
say. I would say that Bert. I would say Bert is probably the most famous, successful, then you, and then Galvin, and then me.
Really?
Yeah.
You think, no offense to Galvin, but you think that your success will be less than Galvin's.
I think Galvin's success right now is
I don't think you believe that in your
hang
heart.
on, constant.
But I think you're
it's-
nationally known, though. That's
I'm
the big
nationally
difference.
known, and I have the ability to
Throughout
fucking
the
pop
microphone.
up and pop out at any given time. You never know. But this could be it for me, guys. This podcast.
Oh, Jesus.
This cruise could be the last hoorah. I could be a beekeeper next summer.
Bert?
Okay, I'm going to put a caveat in mine. Okay? I'm going to use it as successful and fully faceted. I think Bobby is much more successful than me. I think he's just done so many more different things than I have that I look to that and I go, I wouldn't mind writing and selling my own FX show. I wouldn't mind starring in an FX series, starring on Louie, doing the radio you've done, and I think your best special is yet to come. I think the stuff you're working on right now, and we said this at breakfast this morning, is the best stuff you've ever done in your entire life. I don't know if you see it, but I think the direction you're going in
Is the funniest shit ever.
is the funniest shit you've ever done.
Stop touching your nose.
That's bleeding.
I know, but stop. It's not bleeding. You think it's bleeding. It's not.
I think then me, then Cal, then Galvin.
Well, that's very nice of you, and that made me feel beautiful. Stop touching your nose.
It's bleeding. I'm making it stop bleeding. I think I'm getting alcoholic nose.
Gin blossom.
You said it yesterday, and all of a sudden it's bleeding at my fucking nose.
It wasn't you.
No,
You're
you
not
had a little
alcoholic.
scab that you pulled off there.
You just had a
Oh,
scab.
really?
Yeah, there was just a little tiny
You're
scab
not
that
getting
you pulled off.
alcoholic nose. I knew when I said it, you were going to take that in.
And it just started fucking bleeding
But
because you
it's
brought
not,
it up.
That's not alcoholic nose.
No,
Oh, yeah,
that's
give me Cal's catch rag.
All right, what about you, Galvin?
what are we going on? What exactly? Because everybody keeps changing
You
and
can
stuff.
throw a caveat on it.
Yeah, throw a
You can
caveat.
throw a caveat.
Can I go funny?
Oh,
You
maybe.
can do whatever you want.
Depends who's number one.
If I'm going funny,
Yep.
and I'm including in this,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going Bobby, me, Bert, Mike. Hey, like that. Take that. Yeah,
Wow,
that's
that was
right.
pretty interesting.
Sadly, I agree with you.
What's that?
I agree with
He
you.
said, sadly, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna have way more success than the both of you.
Right.
You're gonna have liver problems soon enough. You're just gonna stroke out one day.
What the
Then where do you,
fuck?
just out of curiosity,
What the fuck?
where do you find this time machine where radio still counts?
I love how you podcasters can keep trying to push this agenda that radio is dying.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, communication companies are making billions of dollars a year on radio.
By the way,
We're
who's booked?
laughing at you.
Who's booked for our show on October 10th?
Not anymore.
Oh yeah, I was doing a call in to this archaic medium on my landline.
Right. Don't you see that? Don't you love that? How they love to try and push that agenda that radio is dead, and every year radio sales increase.
No, that's
Yeah,
not true.
it's
Hang on
totally
one second.
fucking true.
For you,
Oh,
radio.
No,
is
no,
dying.
no.
Bro, radio is
Radio.
a business.
Radio
Radio
as
is
a
a
business.
You
the
think
sales.
radio as a business?
Dude, AM radio still exists. That should show you enough right there that radio generates so much money that AM radio is still profitable.
So what you're telling me? Hold on one second. So when I go to places like Richmond where radio no longer exists,
Richmond, so what are you saying? Richmond has no
like I
morning
go to
radio?
so many markets where radio just doesn't exist.
Right.
They don't have radio anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're saying it's better now than it was when you go to Richmond and there'd be 3 stations you could do.
No, I can't speak to a specific market. I'm saying radio as a whole, overall,
Is doing better
has
than it
not-
was 15 years ago, 10 years ago?
Absolutely.
For real?
Any business you hope would be better than 15 years ago. Radio has not been heard by the people. Still want free radio in their car for the commute, even when they're listening to music in their drive times. They want local live radio, and that's
Be
been
honest,
proven.
if they said to you,
They have said.
oh,
to
no,
me.
no.
They've
I'm-
already said it.
No. If they said to people, you can either have radio in your car or seat warmers, what do you think people would pick?
Radio.
Radio. You're out of your mind.
If you could get
Do you know how many people don't have computers in their houses right now?
I don't. I agree with.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Wait.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and
Yeah.
figure that out?
No, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to figure out what the question is to see if I can put my head around what it is.
Because you're saying how archaic.
But hold on. I'm saying. Hold on one second. I just a caveat in this is that I think radio is great for you, Preston and Steve, Elliot, Todd and Tyler. There's a lot of places, but then you look at like other places where you go, it is just dying in certain markets.
But that's because certain markets didn't change with the times. In our market,
So I'm speaking of my experience.
Right, but
If
what
you
I'm
see
saying-
McDonald's restaurants disappearing on every corner, you start saying
But you're not
McDonald's
seeing
must
you're
be
not
doing
seeing
bad.
radio stations disappear. You're seeing them change. You're seeing them go to different types of music. You're seeing them change as time goes on. Our radio station used to be a classic rock station. Who the fuck wants to listen to that?
And some of those stations that are in wherever you were going may be automated now, and they don't have a morning show for you to come in and talk
But they
to.
still have a very successful, a very fiscally positive radio.
Or they have some radio guy that's plugged in from some other state, whatever, so you can't talk to them.
I don't disagree that radio's succeeding in certain places. What I'm saying is being on the ground in the war, I'm going into places where you used to do radio, and now they're like, oh yeah, everyone's gotten fired. All they have is Mexican radio and black radio.
Right, but the radio itself is still very successful. They just realized Joe and Bob, we don't need to pay Joe and Bob $200,000 a year. We're still going to get it by playing Mexican radio, and then they play it. So it's still very successful. In
Still
our
is good,
case,
yeah.
the
But I
talent
understand
rises
him-
to the top.
I understand what Bert's saying though. If I use my cell phone, Sirius satellite radio app, and I use podcast app in my car, I never ever turn my radio on ever. Do I?
Okay,
use
but
my
you're
radio.
also a 48-year-old man.
Yeah.
And
But then the opposite's a 22-year-old kid who doesn't know anything about radio, and all he is like on his phone on Instagram. Joey just asked for the TV to be. He didn't even want a TV because all he watches is YouTube.
That's TV.
Yeah, but like Joey's generation, when they get their first car, do you think they're going to be like, hey, what channels?
No, radio's
fucking-
going to be gone. radio will be in your phone or in your car.
Radio's already in your phone, but the
it'll
government
be-
won't allow that chip to broadcast through. Radio is already in your phone, and radio is already all the radio stations, like you said, iHeart and TuneIn, and all these broadcast apps that broadcast it. We've already been doing that for years. We've already been. Now I listen to KTU in New York,
Buddy,
in Florida, all the time.
I'm not.
I
I'm not
don't
disengaging.
care. I'm gonna still be fine without it.
Stop. I gotta go pee. Can I pee?
No, can't you hold it? Be a fucking
Funny
man.
how he did that to him. He just asked if he could take a break.
I gotta pee. So
That was
Be a
me
man.
telling.
Squeeze your. You have prostate problems?
Wait, tell me. Wait, but now go back to what you were saying. How many people have not abortions, but you were saying
No, I
Computers.
said how many
Computers
people
do
have
it. I thought 100%.
Because you think, there's no way, not even close.
Right.
There's so many people that still don't have computers.
Or they have them
So-
and are not using them the way we use them.
And there's so
Yeah.
many people that still have flip phones and don't even have a cellular phone.
Do
There's
you know how many
people
people
that have
still?
landlines.
This is no bullshit. Do you know how many people still pay for AOL?
Yeah.
Pay for AOL.
Keith Robinson was paying up
They made
until a couple years ago.
$1 billion on people who are still paying for AOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Tony Bert fact. He told me that.
Yeah.
Really.
So the fact
$30
that
a
you
month.
think that radio is not going to be in cars,
I was simply
hundreds
making,
of years before
I was,
that
I was
happens.
simply making an argument of like
Necessity?
No,
More important?
saying if you said to a millennial, what would you rather have? Fully functioning, reclining, and heating seats, or a radio? They go, "Oh, give me the seats." I think a millennial would look at that like Joey's generation
and listen in silence.
No, they have their phones.
Right, but they're listening to radio on their phones. They'll find their favorite shows and listen on their phones. If you're playing music, you're probably being pushed out by the genre. You like country music, you like dance music, you're being pushed out by the music. But if you're a talk radio host, whether it be on morning show radio or on the political radio, you still have a job, and you are still very popular. In New York City, the #1 show in the morning since Howard left has been sports radio. People like to hear other people talk.
So
They
you're
like to
saying
be
that
involved in
radio's
business.
still viable? It's still popular. It's just what was popular just changed.
Just changed.
So this-
And
instead of
that's
talk
always
radio,
has been. But that's
it's-
how it's always been.
Right. So
But
it's just evolving.
It just evolves.
It just
I
evolves.
mean, it just
And
changes.
And then it is evolving into all other mediums. I mean, how many years ago did we have Bone TV? And now every radio station does that, where they have a video component with their radio show.
But let me ask you a question. What is this we're doing right now?
This is a hobby.
No, but what is this?
What do you mean?
This a podcast, or is this on the radio?
Well, for us, it's a radio.
for us, yeah.
For us, it's a radio show.
Right, okay.
Wait,
We're-
a podcast isn't a hobby; it's a business.
For some people, but
Yeah,
for
for some
90% of
Right.
podcasters,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
hobby.
hobby. Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
hobby,
yeah.
and it's a waste of time. And it's guys who.
So
it's
this will be on
comedians.
your channel.
Yeah.
I'll be at
Is it
Side
too-
Splitters this weekend.
That's right.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If you son of a guns don't fill the place out, I
Well,
don't
when
know
you use
what-
language like that, I don't know how many people are going to show up.
well, I just don't want them to have to cut it out.
Well,
Yeah. There's only been 4,000
Yeah,
other
I'm
ones.
just trying to
Right.
help Spanish out.
There are too many comedians that come in and do good radio with shows like ours, and Preston and Steve and Elliot and those guys you mentioned, and they're like, "God damn, that's easy. I could do that." And why do we just cut out the middle guy? And then they do their own show, and they're like,
Oh.
"Yeah, okay, we can function, and we
No,
maybe
no, dude. I will say this right now. I do interview stuff, the Live from the Shed. I do the podcast. Doing what you do, I am not. I can interview people. I can do it. I have fun doing it. I like doing it. But like when you do an interview, when you talk to somebody, forwarding a show along with more than one person, or just an interview, you one-on-one, having that room and pushing it forward and directing it, steering it, it's a gift.
You know who that sucks for?
It's a gift.
You know who that sucks for? That sucks for Opie. Because Opie doesn't get the credit for.
I always-
being a guy
I-
that-
no, I always-
I'm not saying you're not doing
No,
it.
but people say
Opie
Opie stinks.
Opie's wants
Yeah.
to always want to change the subject, and he always wants to move things along.
Yeah.
When Anthony and Jim were so funny, blah blah blah, because you need a guy after a while to steer it into the next direction.
Dude,
That's
I'm
hard
telling
to
you,
do sometimes.
I've been on my show with, Bert, and you're talking about the funny alpha comics, and to steer, like, here's what you realize. If I be like, I've done it before, I'm going to go to the bathroom, just take over the show. The show stops.
Yeah.
People stop talking
Do you remember Flash? And
because they
Yeah.
don't fucking know what
Right.
to do.
Bert
And then-
tried to do it whenever he was in with us.
Yeah, and it's hard, man. It's really hard to do just to keep the show moving. Just steering it, let people talk, bring something else up when they're
Which
done
is
talking.
why I put myself at the top of the most successful
think
list
you
of the
are.
four of us.
I think you are.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I put you at the top. I mean, Bert's gonna like make more money than you, but yeah, you're at the
It's not all
top.
about the money.
Well, sometimes it is.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's definitely about the money.
clearly, I still believe in radio. I'm here. That should be testament enough.
Clearly, I would save you from a fire if Bobby wasn't in it.
You know you'd lose me forever if you picked Bobby in the fire. Is that why you
Oh,
didn't
no,
say that?
no. I don't think.
If you pick Bert, you can pick Bert and you won't lose me. 'Cause
Aw.
our friendship will evolve. Is
I
that
don't need to
checkmate?
prove
No,
it.
that was good. That was
That
good.
was a good one, right?
I don't
Yeah.
need to prove my love to you. You already
No,
know it's there.
I would actually tell you, as you were going to grab me, like in Batman when he kicked the door around, he was like, "No, go get her." Remember? I'd be like, "No, get Bert," and you'd
I
be
used
like,
to say-
"You'd be like, I know."
And then as you grab me, I go, "Thank you.
I have a
You
tour.
made the right choice.
I have a tour.
Body Shots World Tour starts October 10th.
Bobby's
Until
just a
10 years later, you found out that he went and get Bobby
And then,
first.
and then you go, and when I grabbed Bobby, I went, wait, Bobby? You grabbed Bobby? Bobby was in the fire?
Yeah, but Bobby told me to grab you. What?
No, wait.
Say if Bert does have a alcohol-related seizure and he's in the hospital and I go visit him, and they're like, you should probably say goodbye. And I was like, Bert, I gotta tell you, I love you. You've been a great friend for all these years. I could give him a hug. He goes, who would you have picked? He still remembers it after all this time. Oh, thank you.
Are we good?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
This is good, man. Good show. Let's end. Let's go.
How long
go.
have we done?
2 hours and something.
Oh, it's more than that.
I was gonna ask, but I
good.
didn't want to get yelled at.
I would never. How, do you keep yours to a certain time limit?
Never.
Yeah.
No.
Then why did you care what time it was?
No, because it was his thing,
Oh.
so I didn't know what his thing had to be.
I got 4 goddamn hours to fill.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just was wondering.
I was only going to do an hour, but I'm sure this audience will appreciate 3 hours more than 1.
Yeah.
I was just. I'd be like, oh, let me just know what time it is.
Spanish, how long do you think it's going to take you to edit all this?
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
You have to edit it on the boat. Oh boy, you want some help?
No, we don't have enough machines to have help.
There's not enough machines in the world to help Spanish today.
So we only have one editor.
I
Would
love
have
that
been nice
me.
if we had just not cursed.
I love that me.
Hey, have you had
That
sex
would
on
have
this
been
cruise?
dope.
None?
I love me and Bert have like the most craziest cameras you could ever use, and he's using just a fucking Panasonic Flip. I mean,
And it
it's
works.
crazy. It works great. Look at it, and it's plugged into just the
A hard drive.
It's literally Jimmy rigged a fucking hard drive. It's
You know,
that's
it's
a charger.
You know, it's jerry rigged. You know where that came from?
What?
Jerry rig.
Did I say Jimmy?
You said Jimmy rig.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. The term is jerry rig, and it's because in World War II, towards the end of the war,
Yeah.
the American soldiers were going in, and the Germans all their shit was breaking down, and they called Germans jerrys, and they had rigged them with a coat hanger and a piece of tape,
Yeah.
and that's where the term came from. Jerry.
That's not what we
rigged.
used to say.
I know.
Do you know what Jimmys are on an ice cream from?
No.
It's racially insensitive because they used to call them Jimmys because they look like little.
Wait. So when
Some-
you said Jimmy rig, was that really the N-word rig?
No, I didn't
Wait.
know. I thought it was Jimmy.
Jimmy's were chocolate sprinkles.
Yeah, people were
Yeah.
like, oh, they look like little black dudes.
Who gets
Who the
chocolate
fuck's Jimmy?
sprinkles?
Huh?
I do.
No, I'm kidding.
I love
A
chocolate.
rainbow?
100%. I love chocolate sprinkles.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that. A guy named Jimmy invented the Jimmys.
Oh,
We didn't invent the sprinkles.
Oh, sprinkles.
him and Rhombus. What was the guy's
Rainbow
name?
sprinkles all the way,
Johnny
by the way.
Perpendicular. Wait, what was
Phil.
Wait,
Rhombus.
Phil.
No, Phil Meringue. Phil Meringue.
Meringue.
Phil
Yeah.
Meringue. Perpendicular.
Inside joke. You guys won't get it.
You won't get it. Let's end this.
Like
shit.
most of the podcast.
No, this podcast we never talked about Khabib.
Yeah, he won.
Oh, let me.
Fight
Can we do my impression of Putin calling?
So Putin called him after the fight to congratulate him?
Yeah, and he said,
We have the audio of this.
"Oh yeah, here. I'll pull it up on my phone."
Bleep, bleep.
Hello,
Hello, Mr. President Putin.
is this Khabib? Wait, am I doing a Russian accent right now?
yeah, it's
Okay,
perfect.
yeah.
Da.
You're the only one that's been to Russia in this room, and you're asking
Kind
us.
of famous for it.
This is a Putin.
What is he, a vampire?
Good to talk to you. Hey, did all that gypsy fighting work out in
He
Chechnya?
does sound like a vampire.
I sent the Irish gypsies to you.
Adam Sandler vampire.
Hey, did you curb stomp them after the fight like I needed you to? All right, fuck it.
Glad we threw that in.
Fuck off.
Uh-huh.
All right, I gotta take a piss.
Bye.
We'll be back tomorrow live, 6 a.m. It's the Mike Calta Show. It's 102.5 The Bone. We're so lucky to have Bert and Bobby on the cruise with us and doing this podcast with us. We're back live Tuesday morning. Keep in mind, Bert Kreischer's got a big world comedy theater tour happening. It comes to Tampa at the Tampa Theater on February 15th. Tickets go on sale when?
October 10th.
October 10th, tickets go to sale. Don't ask me for them because Bert's from here, and all his family's going to want tickets, and Spencer's going to want tickets, and Weecho, what was that guy's name? Weecho, and all the girls that Bert played Cheeto Finger with in high school, they're all going to be going to the show. So buy your tickets October 10th, Tampa Theater, to see our friend Bert Kreischer for his new theater show, Body Shots.
Use the code SHOT.
Can I organize something?
Yeah.
Official after party?
Okay, done.
Official after party.
Yep.
Okay, featuring Bert Kreischer himself.
Yes, and then me and you get in the car and we drive down to West Palm.
No, we don't. We get in the Sprinter and we get driven down to West Palm.
I like it.
Woohoo!
Is it
All right,
still
let's
going?
yeah. We'll take a break. It's a Mike Calta show. It's 102.5 The Bone.